Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to dive into something I think a lot of us have felt, even if we don't always talk about it. We're going to explore this really strange modern paradox of being alone in a world that's more connected than ever. Does this question sound familiar? It probably does. You know that feeling. You're scrolling through your feed, you've got hundreds, maybe thousands of friends online, but at the end of the day, there's this emptiness, this nagging feeling of being isolated. So what is going on here? How can we be so connected, yet feel so deeply alone? Well, this brings us right to the heart of what we could call the digital dilemma. It's this puzzle we're all trying to solve in the modern age. We've got all these amazing tools that promise endless connection, but somehow the result isn't always what we expect. And this, right here, this says it all. It's the central irony of our time, isn't it? Our phones and our apps, they promise us a global village, a constant community. But sometimes it feels more like we're looking at the party through a window. The connection is there, but it can feel, well, a little hollow, leaving us feeling even more by ourselves than before. Okay, so to really start to unpack this, we have got to make a really crucial distinction. Because it turns out not all aloneness is the same. In fact, when we talk about being alone, we're really talking about two completely different experiences, loneliness and solitude. And this chart here just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have loneliness. That's the painful part. It's involuntary. It feels like something is happening to you. It's a genuine state of distress because you're missing connection. But then you have solitude. And that is a whole different ballgame. Solitude is something you choose. It's purposeful. It's a time you set aside to restore yourself and, most importantly, to connect with yourself. This quote from a participant in a University of Reading study just hits the nail on the head. You might not always control the circumstances that leave you by yourself. That aloneness can be thrust upon you. But your attitude, your mindset, that's your superpower. That's what can transform a potentially painful experience into a powerful one. It's all about perspective. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Let's get a little deeper, a little more philosophical. Because what if a certain kind of aloneness isn't actually a bug in the system? What if it's not a problem we need to solve, but actually a fundamental feature of being human? And this is what philosophers call existential loneliness. It's not about not having friends. It's about the profound, deep-down awareness that each of us is a completely unique individual. We're fundamentally separate from every other person. It's not a personal failure. It's just the reality of the human condition. It's part of the deal. The novelist Thomas Wolfe put it so beautifully. He's saying, look, this feeling isn't some weird, rare thing that only a few people experience. No, he says it's the central, inevitable fact of our lives. And in a strange way, realizing that we all share this fundamental separateness is one of the most profound things that actually connects us. So if this deep aloneness is inevitable, what on earth are we supposed to do about it? Well, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a pretty powerful idea. He didn't think we should run away from this abyss of aloneness. He said we should face it with eagle's eyes, that we should grasp it with eagle's talons. In other words, having the courage to truly face our own aloneness isn't a weakness. It's the ultimate source of strength. Okay, that's some pretty deep philosophical stuff, I know. So let's bring it back down to earth. If we can find that courage to face being alone, how do we actually turn it into a positive? How do we get good at it? How do we master the art of solitude? Well, lucky for us, some researchers at the University of Reading were asking these exact same questions. They actually studied people to figure out what mindsets and what personality factors help people not just tolerate being alone, but actually feel good in solitude. And here's what they found. These are the key mindsets for making solitude meaningful. It starts with choosing it, making it an active decision. Then it's about having the capacity for introspection, the ability to actually check in with yourself. It's also about approaching that time with curiosity, like, what might I discover today? And so importantly, it involves self-compassion, being kind to yourself, and staying focused on the present moment. The cool thing is, these aren't just things you either have or you don't. These are skills we can all practice and get better at. I just love this quote from one of the people in the study. It really brings it all home, doesn't it? They see good solitude not as a destination, but as a lifelong process, a journey of getting to know the one person you will spend your entire life with, you. It's an ongoing conversation with yourself. So, we've talked a lot about connecting with ourselves. But what about connecting with other people? Isn't that the whole point? Well, this is where that modern paradox we started with comes full circle in a really beautiful way. And here it is. This is the big takeaway. Learning to be alone, to truly be comfortable in your own skin, doesn't push people away. It actually does the complete opposite. It turns out that a strong, healthy connection with yourself is the absolute best foundation for building strong, healthy connections with other people. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So, how can we start putting all of this into practice? Here are 5 really practical ways you can start reconnecting more meaningfully. First, just get curious. Next time you grab your phone, ask yourself, am I doing this to connect or am I trying to escape? Second, go for depth over breadth. One meaningful conversation is worth more than 100 shallow ones. Third, actively make space for real, in-person, phone-free moments. Fourth, practice a little digital mindfulness. Maybe set some boundaries on that endless scrolling. And finally, and this is a big one, allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's where real connection truly begins. So we'll leave you with this final thought to reflect on. What could you discover if you chose to be alone? If you intentionally shifted your perspective, moving away from a fear of loneliness and toward an embrace of solitude, what might you find? Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it and learned something from it, or if you want to share your own opinion or your experience with this topic, please comment down below. I would absolutely love to see your thoughts and experiences. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on that notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos just like this one. Have a great day. Bye!